This is Clustertruck, a platformer game that has you jumping on trucks, dodging lasers, rocks, branches, medieval weapons, and other miscellaneous obstacles. But that's not what it was always meant to be. The game made its conceptual debut as Highway Fight Squad, a multiplayer fighting game that would take place on top of trucks. But on July 25, 2015, the developers announced a change of plans. They were going to make a platformer using the same physics first, then once they gauged the hype around the concept, they would flesh out their original plan. Years came and went after Clustertruck was released, but the fighting game never came out. But that's not to say Clustertruck as a game was a failure. In fact, that couldn't be further from the truth. On February 6, 2016, the first alpha version was released. It featured 18 levels in a variety of different styles: desert, forest, winter, lasers, and medieval. A player named Matt would be the first to speedrun it. He would upload 2 runs the day of the alpha's release, and when the day finished, the day 1 world record was a 6:04. There was nothing special about these 2 runs, but a day later, Clustertruck would be revolutionized by a player named Hidden. He would start by discovering strafing. I'll let him explain this one himself.
So what is strafing? Strafing is pretty much a fast way of going forward. It works by using the forward momentum of W and the sideways momentum of A or D. In these 2 clips, you can see the difference between normally going forward and strafing. As you can see, strafing was able to jump slightly further than a normal jump, about half a truck further than a normal jump.
His first run was a 4:56. Matt would adopt Hidden's discovery and lowered his time to a 4:27 the same day, but Hidden wasn't having it. The next day, Hidden would innovate yet again, this time with a delayed jump. By purposefully delaying your jump, you could propel yourself a much further distance faster. He didn't use this trick much in his first run with it, but Hidden's 2 tricks would become the standard for fast movement in Clustertruck. For now, Hidden would set a 3:58, the game's first sub-4. Players would incorporate Hidden's tricks into their runs and would lower the record throughout their next few months. With no new discoveries, playing a faster time usually came down to having less deaths than the run before. But on the 29th of March, Hidden was so close to doing the unthinkable. He reached the final few levels without dying a single time. And then... .326, a time achieved by a completely deathless run, and beating Matt's world record by 10 seconds. This run was incredibly hard to go up against, and as such, never saw much competition. That is, until September later that year. The run would get beaten by none other than Hidden himself. The level to which Hidden understood the game was simply insane. He came up with some insanely creative new skips, and his movement couldn't have been much better. This run was so good that it would take 4 years for the first and only time it would get beaten. But that's not where the history of Clustertruck speedrunning ends. In fact, it's only just the beginning. Just 3 days after Hidden's 3:15, on September 27, 2016, the full game was released. It had 50 levels from the original chapters in the alpha, along with 40 more in new styles: ancient, sci-fi, steampunk, and hell. It finished with a boss level, where you had to climb up the boss's arms, press the button on his head, then do it all again, this time while dodging lasers. The game instantly became a classic. Not satisfied with his record in the alpha, Hidden would play the first notable run on the full release version. Hidden chose the double jump ability, allowing him to combine his delayed jump with yet another jump. The new game would also let you choose a secondary ability, one of which was the portable truck. This would allow the player to place a truck and land on it when they would otherwise die. He also found several skips throughout the game. He jumped out early on 6.6, 6.7, and 6.10, then went under the map to fly past a big part of the level in 7.1 and 7.2. When he got to the final level, he exited the run and switched to the grappling hook. He then grappled to the boss's claw, placed a truck on it, then grappled again up towards its head. He pressed the button once, then landed with surgical precision back on its arm, then climbed back up. He pressed the button again and finished the run with a 26:59, the day 1 world record. It would again get beaten the next day, this time by Matt. Matt chose levitate instead of double jump, allowing him extra airtime whenever needed. He combined the skips Hidden found with some of his own. In 2.10, he used the side of a truck to gain airtime. Then, in 3.9, he changed the course of the game's speedrunning history. Matt did this. It took him a couple attempts, but in the end, he managed to fly over nearly the entire level. He finished a run with a time of 26:48, a small improvement considering the game's recent release, but it would stand for the next couple days. After that, Hidden would beat his time, then Matt a few days later. Matt's 23:21, however, would stand for the next month. It wouldn't be until Matt improved yet again that the run would fall. He got a 21:49. This run was a huge improvement. With no new cuts or tricks, Matt beat his previous record by over a minute and a half. Unfortunately for him, his record wouldn't even stand for a week. On the 7th of November 2016, the player Dark Angel submitted a run. Dark Angel used a portable truck trick Matt had discovered not just once or twice, but 7 more times, namely in 5 of the steampunk levels. He also used the scenery in 2.1 to skip most of the level, as well as finding big level skips in 7.3 and 7.6. He finished with a 2016, improving the record by a further minute and a half. The following weeks, months, year, even 2 years spelled a large dry period on the leaderboards. There was a record that, played mid-2017, was considered the world record at the time. However, this run was driven by Connor Ace, one of the most infamous speedrunning cheaters. He is most known for submitting a cheated run in order to qualify for GDQ, where the fastest submission would get a once-in-a-lifetime chance to represent Clustertruck in front of a live audience. His fake run worked, and Connor was asked to attend. When the community found out about his splicing afterwards, he was promptly alienated from the community and banned from the leaderboards, but not before the damage had been done. This left Dark Angel's run at the top. Everyone knew it was possible to beat, however, in a speedrunning community as small as Clustertruck's, a cheating scandal on that level must have dealt a significant blow. It would take a new player with a fresh mindset to finally dethrone it. That player would be Snakeathon. His first submitted run was a 22:29 on the 3rd of July 2018. 2 months later, on August 23, 2018, he would go on to set a time that would finally become a world record. With this run, Snakeathon proved his skills as a runner to the Clustertruck community. But that's not all he did. He innovated. He used the portable truck boost that Matt had first come up with to push the game farther towards its limit. But that's not all. He figured out that if you land on the side of a truck and hold jump, you can propel yourself upward, allowing you to skip large parts of levels. In total, Snakeathon found new skips in 14 different levels, and finished with a time of 19:41. But he wouldn't stop there. In fact, he had only just begun. Over the course of almost a year and a half, Snakeathon had single-handedly lowered the record by over 4 minutes. You wouldn't be crazy to think that Snakeathon would hold the record forever, or at least as long as the record holders before him, but you couldn't be more wrong. On the 16th of January 2020, Emily got on this run.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. That is a huge PB. Okay. I thought that was only gonna PB by like 5 seconds. But no, 37, that's a huge PB / record. Oh my god. Oh my god.
What you saw there on levels 310, 94, 97, and 99 wasn't anything new. Snakeathon had been using it for several of his records on his 910, where he would use it to jump up to the button on the boss's head. It would come to be known as the Pause Portable Truck Boost. The player would throw a portable truck at a normal truck. If you pause and unpause right as they collide, the trucks would clip into each other, resulting in an explosion that launches the portable truck, and, if done right, the player with it. Just as Dark Angel had done with Matt's Portable Truck Boost all those years ago, Emily did the same with the Pause Portable Truck Boost, using it in places where no one had thought to use it. And on her run in January of 2020, Emily got her first world record. But much like the record holder she had just dethroned, she was far from satisfied after her first record. In February, she used the PTB 4 times, the Pause PTB once, and the side of a truck once, all to find skips in new levels, and finished with a time of 15:30. In April, she used the Pause PTB and the PTB once, each in new levels, and improved the record by 3 seconds. In June, Emily found 2 more uses for the PTB, found some crazy new ways to go faster in the laser levels, and set a 14:59, the first sub 15 by under a tenth of a second. The leaderboard started accepting in-game time around this time, which would eventually become the main way of timing runs. That way, players would not be at a disadvantage for having a PC that would load slower between levels. With this, Emily's 14:59 would become a 14:09. Throughout the rest of 2020, Emily improved the record twice, even though no new skips were discovered, down to a 13:42 on the 10th of December. She would go on to take a well-deserved break for a few months, but when she came back in May, things would be different. And that's where the record stands today. Judging by the past, Emily's time as the queen of Clustertruck speedrunning is far from over. She died many times in her world record run, and only used the new trick she had found 4 times. With some practice, I can see her becoming far more consistent with it and using it on more levels. Even without that, her new portable truck skips probably account for more than just the 3 seconds of time save she had over her previous record. But that remains to be seen. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I had a lot of fun making this video, and I'll definitely be making more in the future. Make sure you follow my friends on Twitch, and I'll see you next time.